Hi, this is Jana Kilcrease, a reporter at Killeen Daily Herald, and we are in the days prior to an election in November, but it's Tuesday, the second day of early voting, and we're trying to get an idea of what the early voting process is like and any changes that may have occurred. We ran into a voter in Harker Heights. Could you please introduce yourself?
Sure, my name is Scot Arey and I live in Harker Heights.
Very good. Okay, first of all, there are some new rules about the polling places. Don't know whether they affect you or not. It has to do with curbside voting. Do you vote at the curbside or do you come in?
No, I come in every year.
Excellent. And what are the benefits, do you feel like, for voting early?
For me, it's always been about the convenience. I mean, today, for example, I was just coming up to pick my dad up from the senior program, and I saw the line was short and voting had started, so I figured I'll just go vote. And matter of fact, there was nobody here, so it was just really easy to vote today.
Great. And maybe I should mention that we are in Harker Heights at the Activity Center in Harker Heights.
Right across from the City Hall.
Very good. The hours for early voting have also changed. They have lengthened. We have that available in our voter's guide inside the Killeen Daily Herald. Some of the other questions that maybe come to mind is any advice or suggestions you might give to someone who is trying this vote as the first time?
Absolutely, and you already mentioned it, but I would say your voter's guide would be the first thing I would look at, because there's 17 propositions this year, and some of them are really inside baseball in the weeds, but I think the voter guide does a really nice job of laying out the pros and cons and why we're adding this to the Constitution. So I would tell them to start with that to start with.
Excellent. All right. So registration has already taken place. If you're not registered, you're out of luck for this election. But early voting goes through the 31st of this month. And then regular election day is November 4th. You need to check our newspaper for locations where to vote and the times that the polls are open. Yeah. Is there anything else you might like to add?
No, I'm excited. Like I said, some of the propositions are so like inside baseball, you don't even quite understand them, and some of them don't even really apply to us. Some of them apply only to the border districts. But there are some that are generally, good for all of us. Whether the increased homestead exemption, it brings it from $100,000 to $140,000. The exemption for disabled and elderly increase on the exemption, which will bring that exemption up to $200,000. For me as a small business owner, seeing the increased exemption for business property up to $125,000 will simplify some of the reporting on the backside. And some of them are just, unnecessary. We're never going to have an inheritance tax. We are never going to have a capital securities tax, but we're going to put it into the Constitution. And those are part of the ones. And so if you're going to vote on one of them, you might as well vote on all of them and give them a shot. But it was easy to vote. And as always, I always appreciate the folks from Bell County Elections who volunteer to do the elections, because they run a really easy process. I've never had a hard time voting.
All right. Well, that's information for everyone to know, is that it's easy to vote. Get out and do your duty. And we thank Scott today for his time and his opinion. We have to stress that that's not the opinion of the newspaper, but maybe he's given you some insights as to things you can review before going to the polls this time. Thank you for joining us.